throwing them a party when they're moving into a new home, bringing them those essentials that they need that they haven't had because they've been without a home for so long. So I feel really privileged to be in the work with each of them, creating that holistic set of supports that someone needs on their journey.
It's incredible. Good.
Please hold all applause until the end. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I am. So I had a lot of heroes in the church, and I looked up to a lot of pastors and stuff, and I still do. They're awesome people, but I was shocked when I realized that actually some of my biggest heroes were people who were doing things in the community, and some were, followers of Christ, and some weren't. And I'm telling you, man, like, we sometimes look to the church to be the example of what compassion looks like, and I'm finding it in my community. I mean, what Christine does every day for the past, I don't know how long you've worked there, what Dion's doing, you need to hear more about his story. It's just incredible. So in some ways, the posture of, how can I help and how can we mobilize people to help is the only posture that I have. And I think that would really be good for us as a church too. And just to kind of add to that, like, one of the biggest challenges while I was doing the church, I wasn't getting paid, and I worked for PATH, which is People Assisting the Homeless, partnered with United Way. We were working to move these people in, and my job was to actually engage churches. And I'm just going to be straight with you. It was actually one of the hardest jobs of my life. I think that the donut coffee thing is actually an issue. We like to pray about it. And then I kind of connected the story the other day of when Jesus needed to feed 5,000 people, and the disciples kept coming and like begging Jesus to do something about it. And Jesus actually said, "You feed them." And I think that that's what's happening. Like, and I don't want to say this, it sounds weird, but like, we need to stop praying and start doing. Like, don't stop praying, keep praying, but add to that, our action, and we need to really kind of get involved. And so, yeah.
That was excellent. And just to touch on that, a lot of people, believe in faith. I believe in faith. I believe faith is one of the greatest gifts and the core of what we are as a faith-based community or Christians. But God doesn't just give us faith. He also gives us wisdom and discernment in applying our faith and our good works. Can't be by faith alone. Many people would challenge me in the street when I would tell them, don't feed the homeless in the street. And they would say, well, Jesus fed the 5,000. Those people didn't come to him for a sandwich. They came to him for a word, his power, his healing. And then after 3 days of running out of food, then he performed one of his greatest miracles. All right? I also point out Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 6, where it says, when you're doing your good work, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. Do it in secret. Don't get your cameras and your t-shirts, passing them around, and then post some funky video on YouTube with a guitar riff saying, look what we're doing for the homeless. Because that will be your only reward. And you're not helping anybody.
Yeah. Okay. Not the YouTube video, though. Oh, my goodness. So in closing, I know we don't have much time left, but a pastor and a city worker and a nonprofit organization, can you quickly just share maybe some of your hardest challenges when working across sectors, and then maybe your greatest victories? I know some of you already kind of highlighted some of your greatest victories, but what have been some of the challenges? Because I'm sure we all face the challenges too.
Well, yeah, like I said, I mean, engaging the church was one of the hardest jobs I ever had, and it's not like we're saying, hey, we have this idea, it might work, can you get involved? Like, it's literally happening. We're ending homelessness for thousands of people, and there's this missing link. When PATH and United Way do all their hard work to get someone a voucher and get them an apartment and a key, they show up to that apartment by themselves. They're actually taken out of what they know because they have community on the streets. And so they're isolated. Now they have this empty apartment with nothing in there, no cooking utensils, no this or that. And so I'm trying to say, church, hey, let's be that missing link. Let's be community for them. Let's show up with some basic items, a welcome home kit, and throw a move-in party, and then reconnect with them. When we moved in, Earl, a veteran, the first thing he asked for when we were done, I said, is there anything you need? I thought he might ask for money or something, and he goes, do you want to play chess? That was his first question. And so that's one of the things that I am passionate about and I'm committing my life to is to not let anybody, over the next 5 years, I don't even know how many more people are going to be moving into housing. I don't want one of those to move in isolated and alone without what they need. So we're starting this, and so I asked if we could put this domain on. If you are a church anywhere in Southern California, there are veterans and individuals and families moving in, and we are going to create links between them and churches so that you can be a part of this. So it's gobetheone.com. If you want to be involved, you can check that out.
So I would say when I think about challenges and successes, I think about the same piece that we've all alluded to, and that is the apathy and the passion. So the toughest thing when I first started this work, in even thinking about what do we do about homelessness, so many people said to me, it's just not possible. Don't go there, put your passion somewhere else. You have so much to offer, go do something that you can actually solve. And I remember, I'll never forget, someone said to me early on, we'll never end homelessness. That would cost $1 billion. And they would just kind of laugh and, toss me aside. And so I went back to the office and I was asking myself, how much do we actually spend right now being the homeless capital of the nation? In LA at the time, we had over 70,000 people who were homeless. And what I found was LA County, through just our government systems alone, was spending $875 million to be the homeless capital of the world. So to me, that was shameful. Shame on us for spending that much money and having such horrible conditions, but what an amazing opportunity for us to use that, to harness that, to make a change. And we have 10 million people who I believe in their hearts want to do good for their community. So we have tremendous wealth in every sense. And what I've seen over the last 8 years is a huge transformation in terms of just how people talk about the issue. They now talk about ending homelessness. We're now spending hundreds of millions of dollars on real solutions rather than keeping people in crisis, feeding them, keeping them maybe warm for the night, and then sending them back onto the streets. So I've seen huge transformation there, and that's what gives me the greatest hope, I think, is seeing that people are believing we can do this, and as Jesse said, seeing people every day stepping into solutions that are the right fit for them. Please do check out the site he's talking about. Welcome folks home when they're moving into their homes. Surround them with the love and community that you all have here, and that will make a huge difference.
I could actually be here all night telling you about the failures that I've faced, but I'll be brief because I know you have wonderful things you have planned today. Some of the failures real quick, seeing the mentally ill thrown away into the streets from other communities, and all of a sudden they become dual diagnosis where they're mentally ill and on drugs, and the drugs exacerbate their conditions. We as law enforcement know being mentally ill is not a crime, but when drugs, methamphetamine, spice, marijuana, and other things get into their system, that's when they become a police problem and hurt others and hurt themselves. Seeing the homeless abused every day, it baffles me how the nation becomes outraged when a group of college students set a homeless man on fire or beat him with a baseball bat. But what people don't know is in Skid Row that happens every day and nobody cares. That's another failure of our society. LA leads the nation in homelessness, but we're the tail in trying to fix it, and that's wrong. So I could talk about that all day, but let's talk about some of the successes. By the grace of God and the hard work of myself, a lot of other officers, and partnering with wonderful people like these two right here, we were able to reduce crime in Skid Row 40%. They told me it was impossible. We did it. So don't ever let anybody tell you something's impossible. Let that be a challenge to you. Stick your chest out, beat it, and say, bring it. Secondly, we reduced death, and this is the most important thing to me because I got on this job to save lives. We reduced death 32% in 2005. And I know we got to go. In 2005, the year prior to our initiative to improve Skid Row, 93 human beings died in Skid Row in a 50-block radius. These are non-homicidal deaths. That's like a third world country, ISIS taking over a town, and nobody cared. 3 years into our initiative, we took stock of our efforts in 2009. Community policing, outreach, enforcement, enhancements. 63 people still died in Skid Row, but only 5 people died in the street. That's amazing. Now, we've lost a lot of these victories due to lawsuits, due to my detractors. They've been very successful. The winds are blowing their way. But the one victory they'll never, ever take away from me is the relationship I've established with people who've been indoctrinated to hate police, who see me as their family. You can't take that away from me. That's a victory. That's a victory.
We just want to thank you guys for being such an inspiration. And as we look to partner more in the community, we look at examples like yourselves who give us the inspiration and hopefully give us the resources and the knowledge we need to do it just a little bit better. So, Callis, if you would, could you just help me thank just one more time these change makers in Los Angeles?